Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about Twilight, or shall I say Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined. If you guys didn't know, this book just randomly out of nowhere dropped last Tuesday, and every Twilight fan was freaking out over the internet and everything. I was one of them. I don't really do much of my freakouts online, more as I do inside my head, but needless to say, I definitely raised the target to pick this up immediately because, yes, I am a Twilight lover. Before we're going to talk about this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Twilight's and mine's past, because we go way back. Yes, we do. It's gonna be story time for a little bit, so sit back, maybe pop some popcorn, get a drink, water, whatever you want. Dr. Pepper in my case, because I'm addicted. I read Twilight, I forget the age, this was before I was on BookTube, this is before Goodreads, may have been, I don't know when Goodreads was founded, but I don't really remember the age of when I read Twilight. I remember when I bought it, I remember loving it, but ages, I don't know. This set was released in 2005. I think I didn't read it till, I want to say 2006. I think I read this a little bit after I got out of high school, which if you're young, you're going to be like, you graduated in 2006? I did. I'm old. I know. But yeah, I'll tell you the story how I found it. Back in the day, when there were Walden's books in the mall, and B. Dalton, now they're gone, sadness, I was just perusing in it one day, and I was in the YA section because I love YA, and YA really wasn't predominant as much as it is today, which we'll talk about a little bit more, but I saw this cover, and I was like, that's a weird cover, a girl holding an apple. Needs to say, the cover draws you in, and so I picked it up and I read it, and I was like, vampires? Yeah, because first of all, I had already established a love for Buffy, so the vampire love was down packed, it was all ready for me, so of course if a book says vampire, yeah, I'm gonna read it. So I randomly picked it up and loved the mess out of it. I think I'm safe to say that I'm OG of Twilight. I have liked it for a long time, like I think I liked it before, I'm sure there's a myriad of us that liked it before it got its hype, before it was huge, and yeah, we can't show our love, of how original we were, I guess, of liking it, because YouTube really wasn't big yet, so we couldn't really express it. But needless to say, I've loved this series from the beginning. I think there's a lot of booktubers that are ashamed to admit they like Twilight, because Twilight's gotten kind of cliche, it's gotten, it's crazy a little bit now, and I was at that point where I'm like, oh crap, I don't want people to think I like Twilight, but now I'm like, I like Twilight, I was 18, whatever, I liked it, loved it, so yeah. I don't like the last book, Breaking Dawn, but yeah, I just want to talk quickly about Twilight, and yeah, it's gotten a lot of hate, a lot of people hated Twilight, but it really has made YA what it is today. Before Twilight, YA wasn't really predominant in the book community, it was just kind of a thing. They opened up the door to YA, and now YA is this huge book culture, and it's so amazing, and I'm so happy it's gotten to be as big as it did, and Twilight has definitely helped that. So as much hate as everyone has for Twilight, it helped shape YA, so give it a tiny bit of respect. The writing may not be amazing, the storylines may not be amazing, but I really enjoyed it. It makes me think of not my childhood, but my teenage years, the latter end of them, but I will still always have fond memories of Twilight. I remember going to see the movie. I remember dragging my then boyfriend, now my husband, to the movie. I really like Twilight, okay? So, end of story. Or is it? Because when we get the last 4 books, everyone said that Twilight's over, and then the second short life of Britannia, which I still haven't read, is out, and everyone freaks out about that, and then Midnight Sun comes about, and everyone's really excited to read that. I was included because we wanted Edward's point of view, and we were also excited, and then some jerks leaked it, and it never got finished. Freaking A, you spoiler junkies. I am one, but I don't know if I would have spoiled myself that much on it. You ruined it. Oh, we never got Midnight Sun. And then this was the 10th year of Twilight. 10 years. Yeah. Anniversary. I just realized now that I probably didn't read it. I think I read it like a year after it came out when the paperback version was released. That's when I hopped up on it, so I don't know if I'm still an OG or not. I consider myself one. Anyway, so the 10th year comes out, 10th anniversary. I think a lot of people were expecting Midnight Sun, and then she throws us a complete curveball and just releases Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined. If you are new or you don't know what Twilight, this is such a freaking heavy book. It is literally Twilight only told she changed everybody's gender. So now instead of Bella, the human, we have Buford, is that right? The boy, who is quintessentially, just put Edward. Just take Edward and put him in a boy, okay? That's Edward, but he's human. And then we have Bella, who is now a female vampire named Edith. So she switched up. You can see what she did. She put the B and the E. I don't know. It got really confusing. It's Twilight, but just everybody's genders are reversed. So, yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But anyway, if you guys want to watch, great. If you haven't read it, maybe not watch it, but come back when you read it. You'll get an apple. I don't know. I feel like this video is already... I'm going to hate editing this. So, the first thing, the gender roles. The reason why Stephanie Meyer did the gender roles, she said predominantly, is because a lot of people think Bella is a damsel in distress. She always had to be saved, and everyone was like, oh, because she's a female, and every female just needs to be saved constantly. And I got that to a certain extent, so that's the main reason why she wanted to do it, to show that even if it was a human boy with a female vampire, that he would kind of need rescuing. It's just different. I mean, she said anyone who was a human that is surrounded by immortals is, yeah, they're gonna feel kind of lesser than, kind of feel like they might need saving, which I get, but I didn't know if the gender reversal completely worked for this book for different reasons, but I admire her for doing that, to show that, you know, just because Bella was a girl doesn't mean that she needed saving constantly, because girl power. I mean, I like Bella. Haven't been a huge fan of Bella, because I've always gotten that sense where she's just kind of, you know, always needs savings. There's a lot of other myriad things of why I don't personally like super love Bella. She's, you know, wishy-washy sometimes. She's blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that are just kind of on the fence about Bella, me included. So that's predominantly the main reason why Stephanie Meyer wrote this book. You know, just to have fun with it. She wanted to shake things up. And I really admire her for doing it. A lot of people were saying, good job reading the same book. I mean, she really did. She kind of had to change a lot of things because, you know, she changed the genders and stuff. First thing I did not like about this book was, I don't mind that the gender, like, changes. I wish she would have not given them such complicated names. Like what? Buford? Who? Why? Why couldn't it be Billy? It's easier to remember and say than Buford. And then Edith? I wasn't a fan of the names. That confused me. And I wish she would have just kept their, like, initials. Like, why couldn't it have been? What could it have been? He could have, I don't know, I guess she had changed the names, but I don't know if I like that she changed the initials and stuff. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Like Edith, she could have just maybe changed Bella to, like, what's a girl name that's B? Brittany or something, and E could have been Edwin. I think that would have been easier to keep up with, because that messed with my mind so much. And the fact that I didn't mind that she changed Edward and Bella. I didn't mind that gender role. I didn't know she changed everybody in the entire book's gender. Yeah, you're in for a whirlwind if you haven't read it, because it's just so hard to keep up with. So hard. Now, granted, they all have, like, their same initials. Like, Alice becomes Archie, but she's just a boy. And I wish somewhat she would have kept them just the same. And I guess there's some aspects where it probably would have worked out if she didn't change the gender. I get that, but it was just very confusing. Constantly like, oh crap, who's this character again? Wait, it was very, very hard to keep up with. That was my #1 dislike of this book, was just all the gender changes and the name changes and the absurd name changes, and I was just, it's hard to keep up with. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks that, but it was just, it was tough for me. I had to look up several times, and, like, granted, it's been a long time since I've read Twilight, but I remember the main people. Who doesn't? But I had to look up, like, the main people. I'm like, oh, who is this again? And it was just hard to keep up with that. It was so complicated. That was my #1 thing. What I liked the different take, you know, how it changed the whole roles change of, you know, Edward. I'm just gonna call him Edward, not Beau, okay? Just imagine Edward is the human boy, okay? He was just a regular guy living in a regular world, and then Bella the vampire comes and rocks his world, and I liked seeing that. What I found hard is because typically in a relationship, the guy kind of makes the first move, and, you know, it worked in the Twilight because he was a vampire. You know, he could have totally made the first move, but in this one, you know, he's got such this alluring, beautiful vampire, and he's just a human boy, and it's really hard for him to make that first move. It was very hilarious reading that, because I was like, this is kind of awkward, trying to hit on a vampire. Let's talk about the other content. There is a lot of the same scenes, you know, so the lion fell for the lamb, what a sick masochist line, and what a stupid lamb. I like that. That's just a classic line. And you know, there's a lot of things that stay the same but kind of different, you know, because the whole gender reveals, which I did enjoy reading. I did like reading a different take on it, because it wasn't so much as reading the same book, but reading the same book with a little bit more twists in it, you know? So I did enjoy that. The ending, let's talk about the ending. So if you haven't read Life and Death, Twilight, Reimagined, do not watch any further, because I don't want to spoil you and you leave lots of mean comments. Who wants that? So in Twilight, the original, Bella gets bit by, oh crap, I don't remember the name now. Whatever. And she almost dies, and they have a choice, you know, they can make her a vampire, or they could really try hard to make her live. You know, she wants to be, or, you know, they ultimately save her and she could be human, right? And so you're expecting that for Edward/Bew. Okay, you're expecting that to happen. No, no, no. Stephenie Meyers totally changes it up, and he's just like, let's make me a vampire, and Bew becomes a vampire. And then he has his funeral, and he watches his own funeral. And then at the very end, we have the wolves come and visit, and they're just like, hey, and the ending was very, very much cramped, I thought. Like, a lot happened in a very short amount of time. I feel like I wish it was a little bit more extended, a little bit more, like, I felt like it was just very rushed, very just, a lot of things happened all at once that it was very hard to keep up with, because, you know, first he's a vampire and you're trying to soak that in, and the next thing you know, you're watching his funeral and you're trying to soak that in. Next thing you know, the end, like, the wolves come and like, oh crap, is a fight's gonna happen? It's like, no, we're good, and then it's, you know, the end. And I was like, that's a lot to take in. Do I like the change that she made Bew a vampire? I don't mind it. I think it's kind of a cool thing that no one was expecting. They were just expecting to read him become human, and he didn't. He became a vampire. I think that's a fun twist on things. That's not to say that Stephenie Meyers said, you know, that she said that she doesn't want to change Twilight the original. She, you know, she liked that Bella's still human, that she faced a lot of adversity and a lot of stuff and like that, which I like too. But it's always fun reading a fun twist on it. You know, how it ended in him becoming a vampire. I liked it. I just wish the ending was a little bit more spaced out. I felt it was very, very rushed, and I wish it had a little bit more dealing with him in a little bit more of a vampire. I'm not saying much, maybe like 20 pages, I don't know. But I really just wanted a little bit more with the ending. I did like the vampire change. I did. So, for all the people that are hating on this book, which there are a lot, I say whatever. I think it was just a fun book to read. There was a couple of quirks that I didn't like it. Like, I didn't like all the weird names. I didn't like the 100%. Everyone in the whole book was gender changed. That was hard to keep up with. And the ending and the fact that, you know, it was rushed, and I just felt that. So those are the things I really didn't like, but overall I thought it was a fun read. I mean, it was just like reading your favorite book with a little bit of a twist, because I don't know, I thought it was really cool she did that. She didn't have to do it, but she did, and I enjoyed it. So I gave it a 4 stars. I mean, I love Twilight. I always will, so of course I'm going to rank it up high, you know. Yes, all those things I didn't like kind of knocked off a star for me, just because I feel like that's how I truly feel. But I mean, it's a fun book. It's Twilight. Why not? Crap. It was a really cool idea, and I enjoyed it. There's just some things I didn't enjoy. Anyway, if you have read this book, please let me know what you think down below, because I would love to talk about it. Like, is everyone else on the same page as me as far as hating the other, as far as not liking all of the gender changes, because everybody in the book changes? That was just very hard to keep with, and the names and the ending. Let me know what you thought, because I would love to know. I would love to talk about it. And if you have not read Twilight, what are you doing? Go read it. Yes, it's got a lot of hate, but it's also got a lot of heart, because it's Twilight, and it's always going to have that special place in my heart. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the long video. Be sure to subscribe, and please follow me on Instagram. I need some Instagram love right now. Please check me out at Bookables. Just look up Bookables on Instagram and hit that follow button. I'm trying to post really nice book photos lately, so please follow me. That would mean a lot to me. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I wish I could reenact the... I don't have pale enough hands, do I? There's an apple. I wonder why. I don't know.